Well, hello. I'm hoping the sound's better than what it was. Well, when it was better in like the past, like when I started recording with this thing on, I think, like the final part of Villain Deku. I think that was the first part for Villain Deku, and I started recording on this thing. And it's a Yeti, so I'm kind of confused why this thing isn't really working correctly. And it's a bit weird. But anyways, let's just go to the story. I don't want to worry about my recording. Well, I do want to worry about it so you guys have a better experience. But still, I need to record or I'm going to break one of my laws of where I post every day. Because if I don't post every day, then I'm going to feel like I didn't do anything to help. That was an absolute god combo, by the way. By the way, let's forget about that for now. Deku is now, well, sitting in into a abandoned hospital at the top of the building with a fire that he made with his flames, but, they're hell flames, so they're pretty much immortal. So now he's just poking at it with a stick so it, keeps from not turning off. Even though it definitely would not even turn off, even if the wood doesn't get disintegrated. But I could just think it's a pastime you can do. Then Deku then sees Korogiri starts to burn up. The steel starts to turn white. That's how freaking light bright the thing is turning. Deku just hops off the thing, turns Ghost Rider mid-fall, lands, and then the building completely collapses on itself and explodes. Then Korogiri, well, Shirakumo walks straight out of the grovel. Him with his, well, of course, his, his hair, his goggles, and just a pair of underwear. Because, that's the only thing they wanted to get put on him so they can, you know, show he's, a normal, not just a naked guy. No one's gonna just put a guy in a underwear. Never know for one. Unless it's him. He likes being naked. Anyway, Deku goes towards and Deku just, yeah. Then Shirakumo walking straight up to Deku and then just falling straight over onto him. No, I think he's like, the Shirakumo turning into an Omu, he was like 20, right? I'm not about to do this. Yes, I'm about to do this. Don't fight me on it. It's just, I feel like doing it. Okay? I feel like doing it. So please, don't get mad at me. Remember, the guy's 20. Remember that. Don't get mad at me. Please. I can't handle hate, because, man, just going to school made me have a mental breakdown, bro. I can't handle it, man. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. But anyways, ignoring my mental health. Deku goes to, and Deku picks him up on his shoulders and then just robs his store. Just melts the knob, pushes it open, just grabs a couple of clothes, and then tries to fit Shirokuma in some of them. Some of them fit, some of them don't, so he just puts him in a tailored suit because the guy was just sitting there scared. So Deku just walked up on him, putting his hands on the desk, melting it in the process, asking if he could tailor this guy's suit. Because you remember Korogiri liked wearing suits. You remember that? So, of course, then he starts healing Korogiri unconscious. Well, Korogiri's unconscious, and then he gives him a suit, telling him, it's free, just don't kill me. And he looks at him with a... Then his bones contort to a eye raise. Why would I kill you? It makes no sense. And he grabs the, then his hands, then he grows skin back on his hands and wipes his hands because his hands are greasy. The reason why is because he has gasoline on his hands. You're wondering where he got the gasoline? Don't ask questions. And they grabbed the suit and just left. Put the suit back on to Shirakumo, and Shirakumo puts it on. And he wakes up. Koryu's like, where am I? And this is not Koryu now, it's Shirakumo. Except for the fact that he has some parts of Koryu still there. Like his hobbies, not being a villain. He's not a villain now. He's a good guy. He doesn't know his Aizawa present life or in his past life. He just knows Koryu when he was conscious. But like there was a lot of times where he flashed out and was just taken control by everyone. But some of the members of Koryu that were conscious and Shirakumo when he was firstborn, I guess, like around when he was a kid or something. Nothing else. Shirakumo then sees Deku stoking the fire with just sweatpants on because, that's all he grabbed from the store because he didn't feel like grabbing, a shirt. It's just Shirakumo asking questions about where he is, who is he, and because he doesn't know his name, by the way. He only knows Korigiri, but he knows for some reason that isn't his name. He knows that it's like, he thinks it's like his hero or that code name or something. But no, it's Shirakumo. And that's his villain name, but Deku won't tell him that because he's like nice like that. He's a nice person, just because he kills people for a living doesn't mean he's evil. Come on, man. Just because you murder people does not mean you're evil. Some people, like cops, they shoot people. The good cops, not the bad ones, of course. You know what I mean? Military people kill people for a good cause. Why did I bring politics in this? This is a stupid video about an anime character who just has hell powers. But anyways, just get rid of that. So, Deku is stoking fire and asking Shirakumo if he still eats, with Shirakumo then looking at his gut. It's being very sewed shut because I think that's... And he then feels his neck and his head, realizing that those are also very stitched up and very healed because, he was crushed by rocks and barely lived and had to be stitched with like other human body parts just to live. Oh, then Deku explains what happened to him because Deku just has this information. Because of course he's gonna get some information on the guy that he just kidnapped technically. But that's just Deku. Kurogiri then tries working with this quirk again. Shirakumo tries to work with this quirk again, but it's not really working because he has a different body type now. He's not just a steel pipe. He's actually a being. He has hands, he has legs, he has head. And he has shoulders again. And, he just has fingers again, which is weird. He really doesn't have it. He doesn't have fingers, so it's kind of weird for him to have fingers. Sorry about that. Deku starts starts fixing. Oh, and then Deku, he just watches Korogiri, work on his quirk again because he kind of forgot everything he knew. Besides, like, some basic things where he could, like, teleport a rock to another area. But it's only in his hand, and he can't make portals, like, in front of him and travel a person without making them explode. Because Deku had a burnt corpse next to him, because he killed him. And Korogiri picked it up and just walked away. They asked what he's doing with it. He's gonna try testing if he could use a body. Then he makes a big portal, which basically drains a lot from him. And Deku picks up the corpse and throws it through. And then the corpse teleports through another thing, and then it explodes. Oh. So Deku picks up Shirakumo from his complete exhaustion. It took a lot of him. He's not he's not a corpse that can't feel pain or exhaustion. He's a human being. Exhaustion, tiredness, pain are the things that are annoying. Mental health, eating, sleeping, recuperation, and I guess exercising too, because gnomes don't really need to exercise because they have one body type and they just keep it for the rest of their lives. But anyways, okay, so Deku goes towards his home. Well, he just goes towards this random building and they sleep there for the night because that place had beds and Deku needed a bed because Korogiri looked very out of condition. Like, he's sweating all over the place, man. He's tired. So Deku just had to throw him on a bed. Not throw him, he gently placed him down and tucked him in. Remember, Deku is a very soft person and will not just, tuck a person on a bed. He will normally tuck them in. Which is a nice thing he does for any person, not just a person he likes. And Deku then just pops into the less comfortable bed, but he takes it. And then he just goes to sleep. And they both wake up eventually, later in the day, and Korogiri then looks towards Deku and thanks him for getting to thank him before, because, he was too focused on, learning who he was to focus on thanking him. So, Deku just thinks, Thunder says, no problem, it's just a thing I could do. But still, you're welcome. Deku heads towards Bob. Deku goes to. Deku goes to. Where is he? Yeah, he just leaves to do his job of killing people with Korogiri. Then we go to Shirakumo's point of view, with him learning how to do his powers, and him learning how to, move his entire body through a portal. Luckily, a lot of Deku's corpses were piled up in a pile next to him. So he kept taking some of them from it, and another one kept replacing it because Deku just felt if he's gonna have a person that can teleport, he's gonna want them to know how to do it. So Deku just boom. Let's go. But Deku then comes back eventually to Korogiri, celebrating with a lot of blood all over the place on Korogiri, ruining his suit, by the way. Well, ruined his top of his shirt. His pants are fine. Again, shirtless dude. And, he's covered in blood and has a great big smile on his face, because there's a body on the floor that is not exploded. And Korigiri throws him through the portal as soon as he sees Deku. Then he falls through that portal. Boom. And didn't explode. Then he does it multiple times to show Deku that he can definitely do it now. And then, kaboom. Korigiri gets his powers back. Fully evolved back to its original form. Except for the fact, like, it's back to the original Korigiri, not... You know what I mean. It's basically just Korigiri now. He's now the strongest guy there. Well, Korigiri has his teleportation powers back, and some of his memories back, like who Tenko is, because that guy kept popping in his brain. Then Deku, then actually tells him to make a portal. And he makes a portal, and then Deku walks through that portal with Korigiri, and putting him upwards, and it hits Korigiri, of course. Of course it does. He wasn't expecting Deku to walk through it. He just expected him to throw an apple through it. Not an apple, but like something through it, not himself, because he didn't think he was that trustworthy to Deku, of course. So, fine, I'm just not gonna freaking say it. Deku falls on top of Korigiri, turning back into a human, and as you know from the last part, his clothes don't really stay on him when he stays, turns back into a human, so, naked dude, on top of a not naked dude. Bit sauce. But, yeah, it's just a really embarrassing moment. They both go across different rooms, part of the room, like he's cornered up, for the dresser to get his pants on, and Korogiri is at the other corner of the room, contemplating, Deku on his item at one point. So that okay. Deku, of course. Sorry if that was a little bad of noise, but Deku then goes towards his friend. Well, then sits down with Korgiri sitting on the other side of the bed. Them not facing each other, but, backs turned to each other. And then Deku apologizes for his nonchalantness through going through the portal. And Shirakumo then says he is also sorry for, making the portal above him and not next to him. And then they just both agree to not talk about the situation ever. Shirakumo remembers the situation, is embarrassed every single time he freaking thinks about it. And Deku still remembers it, is also embarrassed about it, but less. Slightly. Barely. Like, you see an ant? Cut that in half. That's how freaking short that amount of it is. But anyways, man, I really hope this recording is going well because I'm talking. And if I just don't talk loud enough, then people won't hear me because I mumble a lot and I hate that about myself. Deku goes to his home, and they just will sleep because that day was just them training. That situation, stop. They stopped trying to act like the situation didn't happen. It very much did happen, and they will both be embarrassed by the situation forever, but they will not hold it to each other for doing that on accident. So, yeah, everything. So, Deku is now at his... I really hope nothing that is happening right now is picking up, because everything is just being super loud right now, and I swear to God, if any of it gets into the recording, I'm gonna get so frustrated. I'm gonna try talking over it, but I don't know if I can. So please, please forgive me for not fixing my mic before I record it. It's a part of my policy that I need to record every single day. But anyways, Deku is now... Let me zoom this in more. Deku goes towards his... then wakes up and decides to go on a trip and asks Korogiri if he wants to come. Well, Korogiri just says... Shirakumo says, I don't see why not. So Deku summons his bike, and Korogiri just says, do you got like a attachment to that? Or no? Are you kidding me? So of course Deku gets on the bike, and Korogiri gets on the back of it, having to hold his hands in a female position. You know, well, in the movies, mostly guys just do it because it's funny. And, or sometimes, I don't know. I don't know you. You only listen to my stories because they're entertaining, I guess, to you. Sorry. Deku, sleep. Oh, and he just drives towards this new area where he felt souls being trapped and, tortured. So immediately parks his bike a bit farther from the situation at an abandoned situation. Then he just drops Shirakumo off and tells him to make a portal that far. And, Korogiri being the guy who doesn't really know how to make, who just got his powers back, is a bit, concerned for Deku because, he saved his life and he likes him. Not like that yet. But anyways, because he saved his life and he wants to pay him a debt, not to kill him, Deku then tells him that he'll be fine, just tell me to teleport towards, and then he says how many clicks away. I don't know how many clicks there are. Let's just say a mile away. They're a mile away. So they can still see the fire and, burning. And Korogiri focus on the energy. Well, it does push. He pushes his brain, but then it, then his body adjusts to the power, and then he makes a portal there. Then Deku walks through the portal into an open flame. Deku pokes his head through the portal again, saying, "You spawned me in an open flame." Korogiri's like, "How are you not screaming in pain?" "I am made of fire. Are you kidding me, Shirakumo? I'm legit made of fire. Fire. And you think fire is going to hurt me? I don't know. It does the same for Endeavor, so I thought it would just work for you, too. I'm gonna meet this guy. I'm gonna tell him that being a fire user should make you immune to fire. But I guess it doesn't. I'm just gonna leave. Thank you. You did great." And here he is, like, thank God he didn't explode. What? Nothing. And then, Ghost Rider walks to the portal. Then he, just blitzes all of them. Well, not blitzes. He runs up to one, shoves his hand in, obliterates them to death, of course. Summons a blade, cuts one in half, summons two chains, and then just splits them two in half, and they just melt. Sound like tired. Then Deku finds a dog. And the reason he finds the dog is because the dog is biting at a Nomu who is going to crush him, so he blocks the attack, and then sticks his hand in the Nomu's mouth and just burns it. completely open and then kills it. Easy. But anyway, then the bird Nomu then starts, f***ing up Deku, because the bird Nomu keeps hitting him, and then he flies away, because Deku can't fly, until Deku uses his feet to shoot himself upwards with flames, because he has, he can shoot flames, and then bites the freaking bird Nomu on the neck, and then breathes flame through his neck, and then killing it. He doesn't know he does know it's a child in there, but he doesn't know it's his friend. So he wanted to kill the Nomu, because he didn't want to make the kid suffer from, being a Nomu, which really sucks. So Deku just falls to the ground. Well, he actually flies sideways towards a building, slamming through like 4 walls and the ground, and then smacks into Stain. I just made a freaking convenience for Ida so he doesn't die. Bodying Stain against a wall. Not knocking him out, but, hurting the crap out of him. But bro just hit a immovable object against a basically immovable object. So it was painful. So Stain just walks out of it, stabbing Native in the forehead, killing him. And then Deku just looks towards him like, do I know you? You threw me through a wall. You fake hero. No. I'm not a hero. I kill people. Basically like you. Stain, correct? And Stan's like, yes. Do you kill fake heroes? No, I just kill people that have a bad soul, which would technically count as a person with that are heroes. So yes. So Stan lowers his guard, which was a good decision because Deku would have bodied him. Ida tries to yell at Deku. Well, not. He then starts looking towards Deku in Ida type fashion, and Deku looks towards the kid, saying, "You're a bit in grief, kid. Probably should leave because this guy, way out of your league. I can tell. I think we're like the same age. I think. Name." And Ida, struggling through the pain of being cut open, says, "Ida, you're okay. Now I can sense you're in pain." So then Deku puts his hand on Ida's face. He just tries to struggle away, thinking he's gonna kill him, but actually, heals him and actually expels the blood from his mouth, and then evaporates that atom from Ida. So now Ida is immune to Stain. So Stain is just a guy with a good sword now, and doesn't have his quirk against Ida. Only Ida, and that's it. And Deku, of course, because Deku immediately inserts this virus into him, which then it purges itself with very fast antibodies. So now Deku is immune to it. He could bleed, but it's just fire blood, which I don't think Stain's a fire eater. Anyways, Deku then tells Ida to beat it, or he'll have to fight him, which then Deku looks at him with his, not the penance stare, but like something like it, to show what would happen if he tried fighting Deku. It was a lot of him being burned alive, cut in half, ripped in half, or just being stabbed rapidly in the gut with a flaming sword. Or, strangled badly, like his throat just cuts open. But actually what would happen if Deku would just pull that chain and knock him out. Not all this murdery stuff, because, Deku has standards. And then Ida just immediately leaves with fear, because hell no is he fighting that guy. And Deku stands up, looks towards Stain. Do you want to join my group? Want my duo? And, Stan's like, You have a duo? Where is he? He's my support, I guess. And, 1 second. Then Deku pulls out a phone. Yes, he took a phone from an area. Actually, this is a normal phone, and Korigiri has the other phone, by the way. Actually, it's a radio. He doesn't have a phone. He has a radio. And he, like, poops on the radio and tells him, like, his coordinates, and they might get a new squad members, like, in a very monotone sound. And then he transforms out of his Ghost Rider state to, like, speak more clearly and not into a demonic voice. So, so he can speak correctly, like, nicely, you know? Then Deku just tells Korogiri that, yeah, could you make a portal here? And then Korogiri makes a portal almost inside Deku. Actually, he does make a portal inside Deku. But Deku just walks off it before it just spawns in front of him. It wouldn't kill him. The portal's more a ghastly thing that makes portals. Doesn't really cut people in half. Well, not from my other videos. That thing is deadly, but in this version it's not. And Deku walks through the portal, then walks out of the portal because he walked backwards into Shirakumo. Deku turned around in Shirakumo's arms and just went. And then Deku, his face burning up, then just walks straight back into the portal. Fast. Then he tells Stain through the portal, telling him to, if you want to not be captured by heroes, because there are no endeavors here. And Stain starts to twitch, but then he calms down, because he knows endeavor's the worst of them all. But anyways, Deku, then Stain walks through the portal next to Shirakumo instead of in his arms, because Deku immediately moved him out the way, just picks him up with his bare hands, like a couple of grapes, and moves him. And Stain walks through the portal, Shirakumo closes it, and luckily for Stain, he doesn't explode. Sorry, I just needed to clap for that guy. Good job. Nice W, Shirakumo. You didn't kill a man. Again. But anyways, Korigiri welcomes him with a handshake, which lightly takes Deku off, like a clock when it hits like 1 o'clock, just a bit, just slightly. But Deku ignores it, and Shirakumo explains that Deku is the Ghost Rider, a ghostly being that kills people for moral righteousness. And Stan's like, I do the same. Maybe I'll join, but first I need to see how you guys operate so I can see if I could work with you. And if I couldn't, then that sucks. I'll just leave. If you don't have a problem with that, if I don't feel like it. And Deku's like, nah, no problem. If you don't want to join, you don't want to join. But then they look towards each other in a bit of a suspicious look at each other. Mostly Deku and Stain look at each other. Shirakumo's just looking at the sky because he doesn't give a fuck. But anyways, that is all I have for you today. Like, subscribe, hit the post notification bell. Liking helps with the algorithm. It really does. Never forget that in any of my videos. Subscribing also helps with the algorithm because it makes me more popular and gives me more inspiration to, do more videos. And maybe even more videos in even more days. 2 a day, maybe. Who knows? Maybe 1 shot a day and a part every day. Oh, that'd be smart. I did that one day, but I didn't feel like doing it because I didn't feel like, doing it. But anyways, hitting the post notification bell reminds you every single time I record a video, which is good to know. Well, that's all I have for you today. As I said, like,